participatory way, then the chances that things that are horrific will happen is much more reduced when you move away from that kind of centralized, army apparatus.
If you get 100 million people to sign this, everybody in the army will know somebody who signed it.
Exactly.
They may have signed it themselves.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a certain point where everybody in the service is going to be aware of this. I mean, it's going to.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking, just last night, I was planning on coming here tonight, and because work, I sometimes can't get out that early, but when I heard Russell Brand, and I've been listening to him on the Truths online, I thought, geez, if he found out about this, I just wonder if you're looking for publicity.
You're right, we should contact him about this.
I send him the literature. I thought,
because he's anti-capitalist, and what's great is that he's not even, beholden to socialism either. He's like, well, start from scratch. Let's start from scratch, and if
this is like starting from scratch.
Yeah,
totally.
exactly.
Yeah, I know.
Start with the people. Yeah. What are the people like? What do they want?
He's a good public PR person.
Oh yeah, I some people wouldn't want his PR, but I would.
Anything, really. He's a good guy. I'm really impressed with him. He's a smart man.
Let me listen. I think it's important to keep in touch. This is my personal phone number, and it's the pdrboston.org is the webpage of the organization we formed. We're about 5 people maybe, and we don't have any connection to anything else except my other webpage, newdemocracyworld.org, which is just a webpage. And of course we get funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
But that does bring you to a certain point that all these little groups we have, that are doing different things, Vita Urbana, so forth, the whole gamut, JP, transition, everything. If you do the research, and we've done some of it, and thinking about who to talk to and stuff, and network with, all these groups across the nation and the world really, no matter how tiny they are, through different channels get funding from, if they get any funding at all, they get it through these different channels and intermediaries, and it's coming from the ruling class.
The Ford Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Heinz Foundation.
And that's how they make sure that, because ordinarily if you gave them money, or they got money from somewhere else and didn't have any thought that, well, I shouldn't say this or that because then I won't get more money. If that wasn't there, we wouldn't be the only people saying this. But because that's there, and not just that, but the other half that fits together with it, is that they have been told by the media, and people, you begin to believe it because it's really comprehensive propaganda, that nobody feels this way. So if you want support, don't talk about those things, just talk about $15 an hour. Don't talk about getting rid of capitalism, And so they, in their earnest desire to make a better world, they believe that you can't talk about that because you won't get support. And even if you did, you wouldn't get funding from these people, so there's doubly no reason. And so in that way, they kind of control a lot of those people. And when you talk to them in these groups and you bring that kind of thing up, they're aware of it, but it's not clear what the hell to do about it.
Yeah, it's getting worse. I mean, it's getting scarier. Because, there was a big demonstration over GBH last week. I couldn't make it, but it was against David Koch on the board of GBH.
Right,
and, that program about the Koch brothers didn't air, interestingly. With the summer, it's now going to be it's now released or is about to come out. But I mean, PBS they were going to show it on GBH, but they dropped it.
That's very telling.
One thing
I can't believe he's on there. How could you have somebody like that?
One thing I didn't mention that I think is important to know. It's in the category of good news.
Good.
When we collect signatures in front of a supermarket, most people don't stop because they're busy, right? It's a minority who stop,
okay.
And if they do stop and they do read it, they sign it.
It's a big minority, though.
But most people don't, right? So a person could make the argument, well, you're only getting signatures from a non-representative sample, people who stop for people like you, okay? But the reason why I don't think that's the case, the reason why I think the people who don't stop are just as likely to sign if you could get them to read it as the ones who stop is this. it's 4 occasions now, Abram and I on Sunday evening have gone door to door in this neighborhood
Mhm.
between Stony Brook and Center Street. And
We're gonna do all of JP.
we're
You
going
want to
to,
answer the door?
but door, yeah.
Oh.
But we've already done a big
Uh-huh.
chunk of it, you
Oh.
know, from about 6 blocks
Huh.
that way from the Stony Brook, from Lamartine up to Center Street, a big chunk. Now
Yeah.
we're working down Chestnut, you know, to
Mhm.
expand and so forth. So we go door to door in the evening, and, you know, we ring the doorbell, and some people don't answer because they're not home or whatever, but the ones who do answer, most, not all, but most, not a tiny minority in this case, most agree to read this, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And